know you've all been waiting on my video about the DNA results that came in. I wanted to get the reports for myself so I can look at them to get the full context before I spoke about this. So I have them and let's just get into it. Investigators developed DNA profiles from buccal swabs from Mamta's brother, from Mamta's mother, and from Mamta's baby. They also took swabs from Naresh. So that's kind of what they're basing all of this on. They were able to use familial DNA to kind of close some of the gaps, but the main source of Mamta's DNA, her direct DNA, was from a hairbrush. They tested a lot, as you can imagine. The one report that I'm looking at, there are 3 swabs that are just called stained swabs. They don't say where, in the house those were tested from, but remember, we did see some indications of blood that were visible to the naked eye, as opposed to the blood that was developed using Blue Star technology. So there are 3 stained swabs that they tested. Naresh and the baby were eliminated as contributors of the DNA profiles on those swabs. And Mamta was shown to not be able to be eliminated as the contributor. So they never say that this person is the contributor because technically there's a 1 in 8.1 billion chance that it could be somebody else. However, that is the approximate world population. They swabbed a garbage can from the home, and blood was indicated, though the sample was not good enough for them to get a DNA profile from it. So all we know is that there was blood in the garbage can. We just don't know who it belonged to. They also tested the bath mat, and I'm assuming that this is the bath mat that was pulled out of the donation bin. And Mamta, Naresh, and the baby were all eliminated as contributors to the DNA mixture that was pulled from the backside of the bath mat. Then we get to the reciprocating saw. For those of you who are unclear, this is what a reciprocating saw looks like. Again, I don't know the model of the saw, so please don't judge this company for any of this. This is just what a reciprocating saw refers to. The report says that no blood was indicated on the stained swab from the saw blade holder, but blood was indicated on the stained swab from the ridge of the interior handle and on the stained swab from the lower vent. A DNA mixture profile suitable for comparison was developed. Naresh and the baby were eliminated as contributors. And then it says no conclusions regarding Mamta as a contributor will be made at this time. Then it says a profile was developed from the stained swab of the lower vent. Naresh and the baby were eliminated as contributors. And then it said that Mamta cannot be eliminated from there. Then there were stained swabs from side B of reciprocating saw. Blood was indicated on both swabs. Naresh and the baby were eliminated. Mamta was not. The interior ridge of the handle, Naresh and the baby were eliminated. Mamta was not. Then there were swabs taken from the other side of the saw. A DNA profile was developed. Naresh and the baby were eliminated. Mamta was not. They also tested other items in the house. There were knives that they collected, but there was no blood found on any of the knives. They also tested the carpet, but it seems as though the blood samples that they got just weren't good enough to get a DNA match from, which is kind of unsurprising because we know that the carpet was cleaned. So it seems as though, if I'm interpreting this correctly, that the cleaning products interfered with their ability to get DNA. So basically they tested the blood against Naresh and Mamta, and they just really weren't able to say definitively if it came from either of them. So we, of course, didn't know about the saw until this came out, when we learned that the DNA results came back, and that's why the prosecutors decided to charge Naresh with murder and with defiling a dead body. We assumed that it was because the DNA results from the carpet came back, which is primarily what had been talked about, the carpet in the bathroom, and that he was charged because the amount of blood was not compatible with life, which is what they had said previously in court. But it sounds like it was really the DNA results from the reciprocating saw that led to the charges. I'm really going to be interested to see how the defense changes their strategy based on this and what's going to happen in this case, because this really seems like it's a game changer. All right, what questions do you have for me?